so the next glyph is the objectivity of that, the O to the Ah, as we learned from Samoin, the abstraction from it. And essentially, as it turns out, it's a protection with regard to it. And so we learned from Oahspe now that symbol is called Ma'esu. Ma'esu, M means a beforehand, or the feminine. And essentially what it means is it's a shield, it's a protecting shield. And how do you protect that light? How do you protect that self? The high priest would give the married couples the symbol of Ma'esu, which essentially is the circle with the light coming in from the four corners. And so we can use this as a protection, because when we're married, we try to not let the beast get in the way, because the beast always wants me, my thing, my whatever. But it's always that, and then and if each one wants that, and so there has to be give and take and all that, and we have to learn how to live together. And so the priest gave them Ma'esu. If we visualize it, if we perceive it in terms of light, like a white light, or a white circle of light that has the white light coming in, that's protecting, that's supporting that center, who we are inside. So we can think of ourselves as being that center of light, surrounded by this circle of light, and these lights on the corners. So when the darkness tries to come in through the corners, they encounter that light, and they can't pierce in to destroy the light inside. That's Ma'esu. That's Ma'esu. So that even in the midst of contention or whatever it may happen to be, like in a marriage, for example, but it doesn't have to be in a marriage, it can be out in the social order, just anywhere. This can be used for protection. It's a symbol of protection, a form of protection, how you protect the S-light within. So amidst all that rough and tumble and give and take and all that, or if we feel like we're under attack, you see, we can go into our center of light and remember that circle of light and the light in the corners there that are absorbing. And because what happens when you have a dark room and you open up a door from the outside where the sun is shining, well, the light goes in. The darkness doesn't pour out, the light pours in. So, in other words, light is stronger than darkness, essentially. Not that light can't be overwhelmed, it can be overwhelmed until we learn how to live so that it doesn't overwhelm us. And that's part of the faith's discipline. That's part of living a life of virtue. And we talked about that, and the cleanliness and the vegan diet and purity and clarity, wholesomeness, that whole thing. And I don't want to be dismissive toward that, because that is extremely important. That's for protecting that light that we have within us. And so if we're under attack, if we feel under attack, we can always remember the Ma'esu, because the Ma'esu is a protecting shield. It can protect. And part of that has to do with the faith too, because if you have weakness within, that's what the beast goes toward. We know that's the nature of the beast, to always go to the weakness. Well, if it needs to, first it tries to just set itself up as being, the king of the beasts, and if that doesn't work, then they have to prove it. We can sustain our light within. That's what the Ma'esu will do for the foundation, for the Esu within. It's an important aspect of how to deal with dealing with the beast that's out there. Well, we're not going to go through the rest of him here, other than to say that when dealing with mankind, we're talking about standing armies and all this, and essentially how evil groups together and all that. But what we want to look at, the next one is the sixth one, because the sixth one has to do with the ideal and the sustaining of the ideal, and it's called Eoim, Eoim. And this Eoim, or Eoim, what it represents is that even though evil comes and comes right into the core, that you have to separate yourselves from the beast. You have to go out away from the beast. This is what it's showing in there, because you have the true upright crosses there, and they're protected. They're moving out away from the center where the beast is, the center of the beast. And so that's another key that we have, and we're told this in Oahspe in words. The cure toward the Father's kingdom and toward all the ills and all that. The cure toward the Father's kingdom is come out of us. We're going to skip ahead to number 9. Now, number 9, it was another symbol of strength that was given to the faithless, and it's the Aleph. And the Aleph points, it's a diagonal. Okay, for you it's pointing this way, and it has, and we can think of it as a twig with a leaf down here and a leaf up here, but essentially it's a strengthening symbol. You have a diagonal there, and you have a brace here, and you have a brace up there. You can think of it that way. Think of it in light, as being in light, as a bar of light, and a sphere of light here and a sphere of light there, or a circle of light there and a circle of light there. What this means is, if you look at number 56 in the Tablet of Simoin, and 57 in the Tablet of Simoin, 56 is Agi, semi-darkness, Agi, and 57 is Jaya, semi-light. And notice how Jaya goes up this way. The one that goes this way is the one particularly that goes down into the darkness. It's the most difficult one. And so the Aleph, as you can see there, actually puts the light there where the darkness is coming down, where the evil is coming down the strongest. And so, and it supports it. It's a symbol of strength. And that's still potent today, just like Ma'esu is still potent, because these are soul realities. The forms of these are realities that deal with the soul and the soul realm. And number 9, sustaining of the good. So the Aleph is the sustaining of the good. It's the 9th symbol in. The 9th pulse of Esu, or the 9th pulse of who we are inside, our light inside, because remember we're dealing with the, how do you deal with the beast that's all around you. And so we look at number 10, which is the Susa, but here we see that it's the eye and the ear. And so you see with the light and you hear in the darkness. You see in the light and you hear in the darkness. And so you pay attention to what's good and what's not. And so, you know, what's the good and what's the evil. And that's the Susa one. And then 11 is Om. Now Om is the feminine of Jehovah. It says in another tablet, in the Hoed ceremony, essentially Jehovah goes forth, I go forth Jehovah, says the Creator, and I come as Om. So the Om is Jehovah, only the nurturing, the receptive aspect of it, the protecting aspect